Yeah, she's
Because I think Taylor's playing her.
she's not into live action stuff yet. She's like really the Paw Patrol. I'm like letting her like break out to do the things that. Yeah, my kid.
But only the first season.
Did you watch it?
I did. I'm caught up on streaming.
So wait, you watched Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Cannot put two and two together.
I know.
It's John. Yeah, he'll do left or right.
Left.
Alicia.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, awesome. Okay, I understand.
Right back here, make a film with your daughter. That's very cool. It's a good book. She's a good hang. She's extremely funny, really smart. She wasn't necessarily like into it or not. Came to tell me about his stage and his performance. I know I didn't see him in the trailer, but people are saying that this is probably one of the scariest performances of the last several years, for sure. This year. I can say that he did a transformation with makeup that I don't think he's ever done in that movie before. Talk about
hearing this critical praise, and does it make you more eager to then hear what audiences will have to say after the film is out?
We're taught to sort of let critical praise roll off of our backs, and it's hard to do that, right? You got to remember this is all make believe. All of this is more or less BS, and not why we do what we do. We do what we do to express ourselves, and if anybody picks it up, it's a lucky thing.
And you've talked about how this film explores family dynamics and how parents essentially, the effects of parents lying to their children. What is it about the horror genre, in your opinion, that really allows filmmakers to talk about intimate and critical issues like that?
The horror genre allows filmmakers to do anything they want, and especially to do it sort of in a coded language, right? Because you're dealing with mythology and the supernatural, everything that we don't know, don't understand, don't have names for. It gives you sort of the ultimate breadth and the ultimate real estate on which to play with. It's the best genre.
You can pretty much do anything at
Pretty
that
much
point.
there are no rules.
And we saw Micah's reaction to Nicolas Cage. It's gone viral. What was your reaction to seeing that end transformation after collabing with your costuming and hair and makeup team?
It's a little bit like being a painter, I suppose, and seeing a painting when it's done. You've kind of been with it the whole time, so you never really see it in its completion. It just feels like something that's naturally evolved. It felt great. It felt like we nailed it.
And my last question for you is, I was so intrigued to find out that you used aspect ratios to kind of showcase the setting and timelines of the film. Can you talk about your decision behind that?
Again, it all grows out of the fact that when you're making a movie, you want to make something that you like. And I think that my director of photography and I, we had a certain sensibility and a taste. We knew what we thought was pretty. We like the 4:3 aspect ratio. It's kind of making a little bit of a mini comeback, I suppose. And just to distinguish between the hard present, which is the 90s, and memory, which is the 70s.
I'm excited to see it. Thank you so much.
And it seems that Longlegs is also something like that. Is that correct? And how was the journey to make Longlegs after being telling stories about horror and evil inside of you?
sometimes you feel.
Hello, Leslie. Nice to meet you.
You too.
I was looking online on Instagram. I saw that you said I had to be prayed up before I stepped into
just
this
said that,
role.
that's right.
Did you really?
Oh, my gosh.
So I wanted to know, what was that energy like stepping onto this film set, and what did you do to protect your own energy?
Well, it's funny because, the film is what it is, the story is what it is, and the tone and texture is what is the world that Oz created, Oz Perkins, our director and writer, created. So I knew I was walking into that. I knew, the subject matter, the elements we're dealing with, the cult, satanic worship, serial killing. It's some heavy stuff, it's some dark stuff. But it's also about the battling of it, good versus evil, basically. So, no, but for real, I stayed prayed up. Before I came to work, I prayed. When I left work, I prayed. Get it up off me.
Yeah, what exactly were those steps of really getting that heaviness and the darkness kind of off of you and stepping back into you yourself and your
Yeah, no, really that. Just a quick prayer. I won't say everything I was saying, but it's really just get that up off me. Because, truly, it's the films like this film, the best horror film, my favorite film of all time is The Exorcist. Secondly, maybe The Omen, but it's Rosemary's Baby. You never see the baby. It's what you don't see. And when you deal with special effects and CGI, if you're dealing with Godzilla fighting King Kong, you can look at that, there's a disconnect. There's no disconnect when it's dealing with some spiritual elements that is real. If you believe in good and bad and evil, and if you're dialed in, you know it's real. That's what's hard to kind of shake sometimes, when you're dealing with those forces.
You were able to shake it off, create something beautiful,
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Claire. I appreciate it. Thank you. Hi, Dale. I wanted to ask you, as a musician and also as an actor, how does music help you get into these roles, especially a role that's a little bit darker and a little more intense?
I always make a playlist for the roles that I I play the most especially for the Dark Worlds. I toured over, I meditate, I think about these characters and what their backstory is, what's not in the script. What was the joy of their life, what were their dreams, what broke their heart. What would cause someone to become mentally unwell on stage at the dark side end. And I did that with Ruth, and felt that by the time I got to set, I couldn't show all together and had to let her out. I didn't really feel conscious of my choices or my actions at that point. I felt like something took over and it wasn't me. So I find that music, my own music, while I was filming this movie, I was also working on The Masked Singer. It couldn't have been any more different, right? Playing a dandelion, singing Over the Rainbow, a Muse song, and stuff from Willy Wonka. It was so beautiful to be able to dive deep, deep into this and then discover that I was also flying off to LA and doing this beautiful, light, joyful thing.
Yeah, I can imagine that was. What did you do to kind of flip that switch and go, okay, I'm leaving Ruth for a moment, I'm gonna go, perform now, and then when I come back, I'll be able to start writing.
This felt like I've been working now for years, which is scary to me. I've learned from my mistakes about staying too deep into the character, not getting out of it, and spending an entire film shoot kind of locked in a character's point of view. And I realized not only is it really hard on me to do that, not healthy, but also it's not necessary. And I think you do better work when you just be present. I love working that way. Every dark role I played over the last 10 years has felt very free, where I go fully in and I go fully out, and it's time for lunch, and by the time I'm driving home that day, I've left her behind.
I've left it all on the table. And you talked about how this is almost a little bit healing, or you kind of left everything out on the table. What did it feel like at the end to kind of let go of all of that and say, okay, now I can step into other projects, and this thing that I was dealing with, I'm now kind of left behind with Longlegs?
I've seen every movie in the world. When you deal with elements
it
hard to explain.
It was hard to describe. It felt like
that's why I love
something
Michael's
really
character.
imperceptible, but very, very strong. I remember the last day on set, and just feeling like I did everything I could to do. Oz was happy. That was all I cared about because I trust him so implicitly. He's one of the finest filmmakers I've ever worked with. And I knew that I did Ruth proud. I paid homage to her complicatedness, and I thought I found some empathy for her. And I loved her deeply as I played her. So I left her all behind. Now she's on the screen forever, and I'm not watching her. I'll let you watch her. But I'm just going to go on and be very proud of Ruth and of Longlegs.
As you should be, as you should be. And I know audience. sitting down with the prosthetics, the costuming, the makeup, and looking in the mirror and seeing this whole transformation?
How did I react the first time I saw this? Well, put it this way, all the animals in my house started barking and meowing. I knew something special was happening. They were as scared as I was. So something is afoot in that work here.
And this film, I mean, it covers family dynamics as well as the occult and so many different subgenres within it. What is it about the horror genre, in your opinion, that really allows filmmakers to take a step further and really dive into, just the human psyche?
Dream logic isn't weighed down by the physics of reality per se. It allows directors to become uber creative. It allows actors to wave their surrealist freak flags and try something different in a film performance. You're not locked into a material narrative per se. It deals with other dimensions.
You kind of take a step out there and try new things.
Yeah, and it gives you a chance to be more real. Who knows what is or isn't out there? Who knows what the unknown is? But when you're in a horror film or a science fiction film, you can go a little further with gesture and voice and try new things. Break the weight of physical reality and go into gesture and vocal performance that I think is very liberating.
So I love that it's liberating not only for the audience but also for the performers.
It's a movie, in a lot of ways, it's a movie about mothers in an interesting way. Whatever I did in this movie, I owe all to my mom. It's my homage to my mom.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate it. Thank you.
In this movie, I dedicated that to my mom. I was kind of thinking about the way she was. Some critics say, oh, it's time to it's not time to.
Same. But we've all seen the video, the viral video now of your heart beating when you first sat across from Longlegs. What was it like for you to relive that moment and watch and go, oh man, I didn't realize my heart was beating so fast?
I mean, I genuinely had no idea that they had this footage. We were doing press a couple weeks ago, and the director was like, I have to play you this. And I was like, what? And he was like, no, it's insane. So it really, hearing it, and you can hear, Oz in the background being like, okay, are you ready? And action, it just brought me back to that day, which is pretty cool.
I love that. It was so interesting to watch. I was like, dang, I want to hear my heart beating at intense moments in my life. Let's just have it on all the time. But also, we're hearing the title, especially now recently, with a lot of female actresses of Scream Queen, and I wanted to ask, what was your opinion on kind of having that as a part of your name now in articles and just in the way that people talk about your performance?
I mean, it's such an honor. I look back at all the films that I've done, and the horror movies are some of the ones that I'm most proud of. It Follows was, it changed my entire life. It changed my career, and that will, always mean the world to me. So, I mean, it's an honor.
I'll take it. Yeah. My last question for you is, as an actor in the horror genre, how do you physically tell your body physically, this is not real, we are acting, we don't need to feel the trauma of what Lee is feeling in this scene?
Oh, yeah, I gotta keep sort of a disconnect at a certain point, just for mental health reasons. But it's just I know that I go into the day and I'm gonna be in that sort of darker headspace for 12 hours, and then as soon as I'm done, I go back home, have a drink and watch a reality show and just relax. So I figured out how to make it work.
You got the steps. And what are those reality shows that you're watching?
Oh, I love Love Island. I'm sorry, I hate to admit it. It's just, it's so good.
It's so the summer.
It is.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you? I love Brazil. I've been many times, yes. Yeah. I've been to Rio, of course, but I was a kiteboarder, so I would go to Cumbuco.